Adulthood officially begins when you stop waiting to be saved, not by a mentor, not by a sudden windfall, and not by a partner who finally makes everything okay. This video maps out the shift required to stop sitting still and start moving. This hesitation usually manifests in two specific ways. You find yourself unable to start the career move you want, or you find yourself constantly adjusting your personality in social settings just to keep the peace. We tend to operate under a quiet assumption that life is a hill we eventually crest, that if we just keep aging, the basic mechanics of living will become easier and less taxing over time. This graph plots our expectation of ease against our actual age. As the data shows, there is a 0% probability that life will suddenly become effortless on its own. The challenges don't actually disappear. You simply become more capable of bearing them. Since there is no rescue coming, the only functional way to proceed is to take absolute responsibility for your own life. It is the necessary baseline for making any real progress. We often misidentify career paralysis as a lack of discipline or knowledge. In reality, you aren't scrolling through your phone because you've lost your schedule. You're scrolling because the thing you need to do is intimidating. This coordinate system plots fear against importance. The more afraid you are of a task, the more you need to do it to grow. But your brain uses procrastination, like watching tutorials, to protect you, making you feel productive without facing the discomfort. If you're waiting for a feeling of motivation to strike, you're relying on something as volatile as the weather. The people who actually change their lives are those who keep moving even when the process is frustrating and the internal fire is gone. We often stay paralyzed because we're afraid of making a mistake. However, the long-term cost of doing nothing is almost always higher than the cost of taking the wrong action and having to adjust later. This is what actual self-discipline looks like. It's the choice to show up and do the hard thing because you know your future self will benefit from it. This fear also dictates how we treat people. We often walk into rooms obsessed with being liked, and in the process, we build a personality based on everyone else's preferences instead of our own. Look at this dot cluster representing the public. Only a tiny highlighted fraction is actually worth impressing. When you stop performing for everyone and set boundaries, expect a massive spike in pushback. This friction occurs when you finally start saying no. Boundaries naturally irritate the people who benefited from you having none. If someone gets angry when you stop being a pushover, their anger is the evidence you need that the boundary was necessary. A true friend is someone who will risk your anger to help you. They care more about your future self than your current feelings. Anyone who only tells you what you want to hear is just an audience for your dysfunction. You stop being a performer in your own life when you stop filtering every decision through the expectations of others. It ends a cycle that is as exhausting as it is empty. To build a functional adult life, we have to look at where growth actually comes from. It's rarely a result of staying comfortable. This split screen shows a harsh reality. Growth from comfort stays at 0. Every meaningful insight you have ever gained about yourself came from a moment where life hit you hard and you were forced to adapt. This means deep pain isn't a glitch in the system. The intensity of your grief is simply the receipt for how much you loved something. If a loss wrecks you, it means you had something incredible in the first place. Dealing with that pain requires emotional intelligence, which often sounds like silence. It is the intentional pause before reacting, the ability to feel the discomfort without needing to immediately fix it or lash out. Maturity is the developed ability to endure these unpleasant moments in honor of the things that actually matter. Once you stop waiting for a savior and start managing your own fear, success starts to look remarkably unglamorous. The best moments of your life won't look like cinematic events while they are happening. They look like a quiet Tuesday morning with your kids, or an afternoon with a friend where nothing is wrong. Waiting for a grand future milestone to finally make you happy is a trap. No job title or bank account will ever deliver that sense of completion. We only realize these were the best moments in hindsight. Finding peace requires staying present in the ordinary days, rather than constantly looking for the next big thing. As you grow, you will likely judge your past self for the mistakes you made. But judging your past using the knowledge you only have now is a statistical error. Next time your inner monologue is harsh, imagine saying those exact words to a 10-year-old version of yourself. You wouldn't do it, so there's no reason to say it to the person you are today. You might find that many of your current problems are the direct result of achieving your past goals. You wanted the job, and now you have the stress. You wanted the house, and now you have the maintenance. This friction is evidence of progress. You have simply graduated to a more complex and higher-tier set of challenges. Identify which of these hard truths hit you the hardest today, and subscribe if you want to keep exploring the mechanics of human nature.